Namaste. Today I know I can see in your eyes that you are really very excited because you know which topic we are going to study today. Yes, it is dance as seen in the films. As many of you may aspire to be choreographer, workers, designers, dancers in the films, you need to know the connection between dance and films and the early pioneers and its position, that is today, its social relevance of dance in the films, its artistic relevance, and so forth. As you know, there is a close link between films and dance. Apart from the explanation of this drawing on the Natya Shastrik model, there was another reason. That is that in early days, the film industry was looked at in a negative manner, and so not many women joined in. The fact that history has it on record is that although he tried, Dadasaheb Phalke, the director of Raja Harishchandra, was unable even to get a Nautch girls interested in playing the role of Taramati in the film. That is why the earliest films have males enacting the roles of women characters. The first women to join films came from the professional singing women community, that is the Tawayafs and the Devadasis, who were trained in dance and music. Among the conditions that disempowered the traditional way of life was the social morality issues that resulted in the demand for banning the Nautch. We know it. The British period was dark period for the Tawayafs, as due to the fact that the British had no understanding of the refined poetry or the music and dance that they performed. They saw them only as sex workers. Further, with the abolition of zamindari system, the local support that they enjoyed was also denied to them. Some struggled to find domestic bliss, others slipped into commercial sex work, and some found other way to employ their talents. The Tawayafs and Devadasis often got reinscribed as performance artists by the gramophone recording companies and the film industry. Often, the same artist, basically the ones who were protectively embracing modernity, crossed over from being a recorded artist and a film artist. Even as they attempted to embrace modernity, they faced hurdles and found their options limited. For example, one of the first acts of the interim government of 1946 was to bar singers and musicians from the courtesan culture, which was described by David Leyveld as anyone whose private life was a public scandal. To an extent, the nationalistic discourse continued replicating certain logics of exclusion, like in the case of courtesan women, around the idea of national culture. Further, Parth Chatterjee, in his essay The Nation and Its Women, has argued that the inner domestic domain of women became invested with the urgency of preserving the sanctity of national culture. At the same time, the nationalistic discourse was trying to purify itself of bad influences like the courtesan women. That is why the nationalistic movement found its early expressions in the form of social reform programs such as the anti-Nautch campaigns, through which the richly diverse and stratified group of courtesan women were reduced into homogeneous group which was a threat to the well-being of the society. People like Rabindranath Tagore, Madam Menka, Rukmani Devi Arundel, Pandit Vishnu Bhatkhande all played a major role in this project. Yet initially in the 20th century, early 20th century, one found an increasing prominence of women from a courtesan background in the cinema and gramophone industries. Their journey was not easy. In fact, Shyam Benegal's film Bhumika captures this aspect, and Smita Patil's role as Usha is fictionalized version of what was happening. Thus, while the film industry opened its arms to embrace several formal Tavayafs and Devdasis, including M.S. Subbalakshmi, who went on to be awarded Bharat Ratna later. Subbalakshmi acted in a Tamil film called Seva Sadanam about the child bride of an old Brahmin man in 1938. She also acted in several other films, including Meera, made by in Tamil in 1945 and in Hindi in 47. Possibly Subbalakshmi's success despite her origins stemmed from the fact that she had successfully migrated into domestic space, for India's whole modern project has been founded on the gender makeup of chaste womanhood. There was a similar project in Bombay film industry that too got turned middle class and got made respectable, accounting for an early marginalization of women from such a background. Another example was that of Jaddan Bai, a well-known Tawayaf who moved from singing to acting in films and thereafter direction. Jaddan Bai is the mother of the actress Nargis. She later began acting when the play Art Photo Tone Company of Lahore approached her for a role in their movie Raja Gopichand in 1933. She played the role of mother of the title character. Later, she worked for a Karachi-based film company in Insan Ya Shaitan. She worked in 2 more movies, Prem Pariksha and Seva Sadan, before starting her own production company called Sangeet Films. The company produced Talash Haq in 1935, in which she acted and composed the music. She also introduced her daughter Nargis as a child artist. In 1936, she acted in and directed and wrote the music for Madam Fashion. One dancer who was very much in the forefront of shearing stigma of the Devadasi culture from dance was Madam Menaka. Menaka changed the face of what came to be known as Kathak of today by taking away any reflection of the Tavaif culture's association with the art, including items from its repertoire and also its musical shape, especially its long association with the sarangi. This sort of attitude left the Devadasis with no option but to take to other forums, especially movies. Yet, just as the Tavaifs and Devadasis were struggling to find a foothold in the films, one of the most severest beaters, Madam Menka, became the first to dance on screen when she performed in the Tiger of Ishanpur in 1938, Germany, and a British documentary, Temples of India. Menka, the stage name for Laila Soke in real life, was said to have transferred the malign Tavaif Nach into the respectable Kathak. In 1930s, when women dancing in public was stigmatized as prostitutes, this Brahmin was refashioning the dance of Awadh storyteller through performances in Europe and Southeast Asia. Few among the patriarchal practitioners gave her credit for this when she died in 1947, perhaps because what she presented to foreigners was generic, Uday Shankar kind of aesthetic that had greater kinship with Javanese dancing than with Achan Maharaj of Lucknow. However, that could be why German director Richard Ichberg, in search of Oriental exotica, accepted her productions Krishna Leela, Dev Vijay Nritya, complete with her costumes. Classical dancers as protagonists posed 2 problems to filmmakers. One, while many actors, even after playback singing was introduced, could sing, not many were dancers. Secondly, the part of modernity project of India by 47, when India became independent, women dancers had fallen into disrepute and classical dance was a male preserve. Many films reflected that. Geet Gaya Patharon Ne, Jal Bin Bachli, Nritya Bin Bijli, Mughal Azam, Pakiza, Guide, Tisri Kasam, Devdas, based on the story of professional dancing women or their daughters were the subject of the films. To overcome this hurdle, actresses like Madhubala, Meena Kumari or Nargis, not raised in dance like Vaijayantimala, Padmini or Vaida Rahman, had a pristine guru in say Lachu Maharaj and Naushad, an unsurpassed devotee of classicism in films. Tweaking ragas and choreographies to highlight prototypal. It was Lachu Maharaj who choreographed the Thade Rahiyo number in Pakiza. Saheb Bibi or Gulam presented the other side of the story, where even upper class husbands confined wives to Andar Mahal, inner courtyard, as childbearing machines rather than be a friend, confidante and mistress. An anguished Choti Bahu Meena Kumari revolts against this in vain. Her husband spurns her companionship for that of a Nachwali who sings Saiya Aja Mujhe Neend Nahi Aayegi. Meenu Mumtaz never bettered this Odissi inspired number that oozed enough sensuality to be a precursor of today's item songs. Two names outshine all others, Vaijayantimala and Wahida Rahman. At age 5, Vaijayanti had performed for pop and had her Arangetam at 13. She learned Bharatnatyam under Vajur Ramaya Pillai and Carnatic music too. She was already famous in Tamil films when she debuted in Bahar in 51. She brought the film to life with her dances that were new for North Indians. Her dances were the saving grace of Ladki. Man Dolere in Nagin 1954 let loose a string of innocent tribal bells, the most successful being Madhubati in 1958. Before that, though Vaijayanti had graduated from being a dancer to an actress in Devadas, where in 1955, where ironically she played a fallen woman who gives up dancing. The social attitude towards dancers can be gawked from the furor Bimal Roy unleashed by choosing to cast Vaijayantimala as Chandramukhi. But her reputation as dancer mixed with her revolution as a woman who sacrifices her career for love, wants sympathy, admiration, universal love. It marked her rise for glamour to histrionic heights without sacrificing her dance. Roy himself tapped in again in Madhumati. The ravishing beauty seen in 3 incarnations mesmerized at the twinkle-toed Madhu, the tribal who knew every tree in the jungle and could beat the Papi Bichua at its own game. Salil Chaudhry's deathless melody drew upon folk rhythms, showing Vaijayanti's versatility as a dancer. By then, she had also assisted puppeteer Balraj Sahani and Amiya Chakravarti's Kathaputli, completed on his death by Nitin Bose in 1957, and performed folk dances and street dances to Bakad Bam 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 and Bolari Kathaputli. She danced to the modern beats in Aja Tu Raja in Raj Tilak, which encased her real life rivalry with Padmini, who moved to classical mudras. She had agreed to a Sawal Jawab with Helen in Dr. Vidya in 1962, when Geeta Dutt and Asha Bhonsle crooned Aahe Dilruba. She did bid goodbye to the dual role of dancer actress with Amrapali in 1966. Padmini, Lalita and Ragini, known as the Travancore sisters and the disciples of Guru Gopinath and Mahalingam Pillai, featured in Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada and Hindi films. Padmini alone participated in some 250 films against stalwarts MGR, N.T. Ramarao, Shivaji Ganeshan, Raj Kapoor. Few, though, harnessed her talent and beauty to a character rooted in dance. This, though she started with Uday Shankar's Kalpana, she gave her best to what came her way. Even Jis Desh Mein Ganga Behti Hai showcased little of her dance. Her most famous remained Tillana Mohanambal in Tamil, where a dancer competes against a musician to see who is better, and Paradesi, based on Russian travelogues. Although Hema Malini boasts dance-based film, Kinara, Abhinetri and Mrigatrishna, Shade continues to dance on stage. Her training in Bharatanatyam is by Kittappa Pillai, in Kuchipudi by Vempati Chinna Satyam. She directed and starred in the television serial Noopur, in which she played the role of Bharatanatyam dancer. One of the actresses best remembered as dancer actress is Wahida Rehman. She was trained in Bharatanatyam first by Meenakshi Sundaram Pillai and then by Jayalakshmi Alba. Guide, Teesri Kasam, Neel Kamal were her memorable films. As Rosie in Guide in 1966, she got the dream role of a Tawif's daughter who gives up her passion as it is unacceptable to her husband, but she returns to dance rather than remain a dutiful wife to philanderer. Brother Sohanlal and Hiralal had choreographed a range of dances to each Rosie, but the spontaneous snake dance in the market was the cherry on the cake. Vaida consolidated her position by playing Hirabai in Teesri Kasam in 1966. In the film, the icon of innocence, Raj Kapoor, playing the role of a bullock cart driver, beats up people who see her as a prostitute. He admires her Pan Khaye Saiya and Mare Gaye Gulfam X, leaves his savings with her and simply cannot put up with the nonsense of the zamindar subjects to her. She on her part cannot give up her life as company ki bai to become Hiraram's Devi. Even the foxy dancing numbers were choreographed by Lachu Maharaj. An accomplished dancer, Vaida Rehman later stated that an actor doesn't have to be a dancer, but because our movies have so many song and dance sequences, it is advantageous if they are. In today's scenario, classical or semi-classical numbers are hardly seen in our films, though India still dances at the birth of a child, at marriage, at Holi, at Valentine's, New Year's Eve, even Durga Pujas, but now they dance to westernized movements, choreographed with much hip swinging. In the age of MTV, who cares for footwork, parants, chakkars or mudras? Today, the lead players perform with a supporting troupe, not to reinvent the Greek chorus commenting on the action, but to add visual volume a la Broadway musical style. This has increased the eroticism of commercial films, which have large overseas market. In this dance that has given rise to what the world identifies as Bollywood dance. This admixture of styles bows to salsa, tango, belly dancing and ballet as to the Indian folk and tribal traditions. If Avarahu was once the national song of USSR, today Chaiva Chaiva is chic in Germany, Spain, USA and Canada. Dance schools are teaching movements choreographed by Saroj Khan, Shaimak Dawar, Farah Khan, Vaibhavi Merchant, and new age dance films like Aaja Nachle are tapping on dance not as add-on to market a film, but central to the script. Madhuri Dixit is trained in Kathak and known for Saroj Khan's hit numbers for Tezab, Khalnayak and Devdas, and Shaibak Diver in Dil To Pagla Hai. In Aaja Nachle, she played a choreographer who returns from New York to her hometown, a decaying Shimli, to save a deserted dance theatre about to give way to a shopping mall. She puts up together a ragtag group to enact Laila Majnu, but show me your jalwa or dance with me, the dance numbers they put up become favorites at clubs and marriages. Westernized dancing to English lyrics become a trend after Dil To Pagla Hai 1998, revolving around dance troupes members Rahul, Nisha and Pooja. Nisha loves Rahul, who loves dance, but when Nisha has an accident, he searches a dancer to save his dream project, Maya, Enter Pooja, a role played by Madhuri, who shimmers in the role. Yash Chopra exemplified how India's mainstream adopts new formats without alienating tradition and established the choreographer as a star. Shaimak Diver won the national award and went on to choreograph the dance-centric Tal, about an artist who is spurned because she is a dancer, when worshipped when she is a star. It showcased Aishwarya Rai as a dancer with commendable grace. He choreographed Rab Ne Malade Jodi around a dance contest that pitted Shah Rukh against Anushka Sharma as both husband and dance partner. Michael Jackson's Thriller inspired Farah Khan, daughter of a stunt filmmaker, to turn into choreographer with Jo Jita Wohi Sikandar. With Kabhi Haan Kabhi Na, she befriended with Shah Rukh Khan and turned director, making Om Shanti Om among many of her films. With engaging characters and wacky numbers, Farah achieved global recognition with Monsoon Wedding, where she projected Generation X's passion for modern dancing even at traditional Punjabi wedding. Vaibhavi Merchant, granddaughter of yesteryear Kathak dancer and choreographer Hira Lal, is trained in Indian and Western dancer. This showed in her choreography for Nimbuda Nimbuda in Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam, winning her a national award. Her sensitive stances and delicate movements could be discerned in her numbers for Bhansali's Devadas, despite the presence of the bigger names like Saroj Khan and Birju Maharaj. Dola Re Dola, where Devdas' Paro and Chandramukhi dance in harmony, testifies to Saroj Khan's significance. And the same thing we have seen getting repeated in the most recent Bajirao Mastani, where two of the main female characters danced. It is a number perfectly envisioned for the camera, the editing table, and the fans of such powerful dancers like Aishwarya Rai and Madhuri Dixit, or Deepika Padukone and Priyanka Chopra. After envisioning 2000 numbers, since she stepped out on her own with Sita or Geeta, came into limelight with Ek Do Teen, teased with Choli Ke Piche, Radha Kahe Na Bole, Kajrare Kajrare, and won 3 national awards, including one for Sri Rangam, a film based on the story of the Devdasis' way of life, where she choreographed classical dance. Eventually, she was invited even by Chennai's purist dance organization, Shri Krishna Gana Sabha. And Bollywood dancing would not be complete without a mention of Helen, who represented a genre that is now dubbed item number. Helen, with Cuckoo before her, and Bindu, Aruna Irani, Smita Sulk, and Malika Sherawat afterwards, provided the erotic component of Hindi. The tradition bound Indian society wouldn't flock to see a heroine being immodest, accounting for the growth insignificance of the item number. Bidi Jalade, Sheila, and Munni are storming the world. Helen's cabaret scenes, much like the Tawayaf in Kotha, were innocuous ways of throwing in dance that was not integral to the story. Born to Anglo-Indian father and Burmese mother, Helen joined films to supplement her nurse mother's salary. She was introduced by Cuckoo, the rubber girl, in 1940s-50s, with whom she danced duets in Yahudi and Chalti Ka Naam Gaadi 1958. But after Mera Naam Chin Chin Chun in Howrah Bridge in 1957, Helen was flooded with offers that saw her reign through the 1960s and 70s. Today, there is no need for a tawaif or cabaret dancer, as the heroines themselves dance boldly, suggestively, sensuously. These dances are essentially aimed at the males, but young girls too see them as cool. Sheila Ki Jawani was runaway hit, though Tismar Khan was the worst film ever. Munni Badnaam Hui made Malaika Arora a household figure, while Dabang enacted 100 Crore Club. Kareena Kapoor crooned about her Halkat Jawani and challenged men to paste a picture on their heart, Fevicol say. Pamela Rooks used Mahesh Dattani's play to look at men who choose a line of study that is discordant with conventional expectations, and at women who will stop at nothing to realize their dream. Although dance has been a male prerogative in classicaldom, it acquired a cool quotient in Indian films when Shammi Kapoor, inspired by Elvis Presley, unleashed his frenetic, jerky gestures in Kashmir Ki Kali 64, Jangli 61, Dil De Ke Dekho 59, Tumsa Nahi Dekha 57. Before him there was Gopi Krishna. Despite his asthma, this nephew of Sitara Devi had learned Kathak from Shambhu Maharaj and Bharatanatyam from Mahalingam Pillai. In 1952, at 17, he became the youngest choreographer and created for generations, starting with Madhubala and coming down to Rekha in Umrao Jan. Kamal Hassan, who started as a child artist turned hero with a dance sequence in Manavan in 70, and Birju Maharaj's choreography turns him into a Kathak teacher in his latest Vishwarupam. Kamal's sister Nalini Raghu was a dance teacher. Kamal himself had married Bharatanatyam dance Vani Ganapati. When he danced the classical gestures in Saraga Saragam with Jayaprada or in Hindi Ek Duje Ke Liye, he not only won the national award, he inspired a whole generation to look at classical Indian dance as cool. Prabhudeva, born to dance master Sundaram, says he is an average actor, above average dancer. He is being modest. The boneless wonder is considered the latest avatar of Nataraj, and not without reason. He can break into jig without drooping his hat or his demeanor. Having learned Bharatanatyam and idolizing Michael Jackson, he revolutionized choreography in southern films before turning to acting and eventually direction. Now, his Rowdy Rathod is a national rage. Whistling viewers can only hope to copy his near impossible dance steps without cracking a bone. Body worship became a religion when Hrithik Roshan came on the Indian scene. The Greek god electrified the concept of body beautiful with not only his sensational six packs but more through his quick silver footwork. I don't want to do anything that is done before, he told the choreographer Farah Khan before his debut in Kaho Na Pyar Hai. It surely made his dance special. Such is his reputation today that no actor wants to dance with him on screen. Having cast a spell on women and men, his nimble movements and fluid grace molded him into a dance teacher in kites. Satyajit Ray made Jalsagar in 1958 because he desperately needed a hit. He chose a literary piece that could incorporate music and dance. It established his international reputation since Maria Saturn wrote. It challenged the whole convention of songs and dances in Indian cinema. Audiences, conditioned to seeing these interludes as dramatic and romantic traces, had never before been confronted with classical singing and dancing as integral focal points of realistic sequences. Jalsagar unfolds around a 1920s zamindar who, to fob off an upstart contractor pawns his family jewels and hosts a lavish concert to recreate the crumbling opulence of his music room. Ray worked closely with composer Vilayat Khan and got Begum Akhtar to sing for a sequence and Roshan Kumari to dance in another. For half of the 8-minute sequence, the camera watches long and mid-shot the explosive nritta of the vigorous Jaipur Gharana danseuses who was born to Zorabai Ambelwali. Apart from the contrast with the Abhinay based mujras of the popular cinema, this offered the poetry of pure dance, footwork, spins, etc. Compared to the nazakat of Lucknow Kathak, one would witness in Shatranj Ke Khiladi of 1977, this was austere. But the rhythmic wizardry and unmistakable technical prowess made it a gleaming finale fit for connoisseurs. 20 years later, Ray returned to Kathak for his invocation of Wajid Ali Shah's Awadh, which at its zenith was described as Indra's Paris. Though slow paced, Birju Maharaj's captivating choreography to Kahna Tose Mein Hari highlighted the delicacy and lyricism of Lucknow Kathak and brought fame to Shashwati Sen. In between, Ray experimented with eerie psychedelic bursts of dancing in Gopi Gyan Baghe Byan in 1969. Gopi the singer and Bagha the drummer are untalented musicians whose playing provoke ridicule from the peasants and contempt from the king, but it appeals to the upside down aesthetics of ghosts, and their charmed king blesses them with 3 boons. They will feed to their heart's content, they will travel wherever they want to, and their music will cast a spell on the listeners. Adopting grandfather Upendra Kishore's story, Satyajit Ray himself designed the music, costumes and choreography. The dead came alive when Gopi Bagha play and perform a surreal dance and pantomimes, an allegory of India's history. The dance in 4 segments, a phantasmagoria of styles and moods, now evokes Baul fakirs, now the sepoys, now British lords, now the babus. In this treatment, it mocks class pretensions. Thus, we have seen the whole range of movies that were created with prominence of dance, dancers, dance related stories. And I am positive you are inspired to maybe venture in the same direction of Vaibhavi Merchant, Pandit Birju Maharaj ji or Farah Khan. Thank you. Goodbye.